Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the Saab 9000. This is the first repair video on this one. You probably already saw the driving video, which I haven't made yet. It's a bit confusing, but that's the way it is. In this video, I am going to change the bushings on the lower control arm. I'm just going to remove the road wheel. I don't have to do that, but it is making it a lot easier and giving me a lot more access to what I need to undo. So this is the bushing, one of the bushings that I'm going to change, and also the one down there. There's supposed to be a aluminum bracket around this, but it's almost gone. It's just what's left of it in there. But this is one of them that I'm going to change. I'm not sure the actual bushing is that bad. The bracket definitely needs changing. And yeah, the other one down here seems quite loose. And it also looks like the rubber has let go in there. Yeah, it has. So this could lead to some annoying clunking, going over bumps and so on. Like this. Can go in and hit the subframe. So yeah, what I want to do is to firstly undo the lower ball joint nuts. With those out, I need to undo this. With this off, I should be able to just move the arm out of the way or swing it down just a little bit. Of course, the bushing will be fighting me a little bit. Not much though, because they are so worn. So next up, this entire bracket needs to come off. There's 4 balls in all. There we go. And with that out, I can swing this a little bit lower, I think. Then I'm going to undo this and the one over here. It's 16s. There we go. Should be able to just take this entire arm off now. And the look of these bolts are not great, but I will clean them up and oil them up. And hopefully they will be all right. Because even though I think the Saab is a brilliant design, there is some stuff that is slightly annoying. For instance, so changing these bolts are not just an easy fix. You would have to lift the engine a little bit. It's not the end of the world, but even though they are rusty looking, they are fine. It just needs to. I'm just going to clean them up with a wire brush, and then they will be fine. So now they look a little better, and the next job is on the bench. A quick thing to note before I go further. This position of this is actually quite important, because if I put it in the wrong position, it will be flexing when the car is resting. You want it to be at rest when the car is resting, and then flex when the car goes over bumps. Otherwise it will wear out really quickly. The best way to do that is to not tighten up this bolt completely when fitting it back on the car, and then somehow get underneath the car while it's standing on the floor and tighten it up. What I'm going to do is to mark up the position of the old one, because it's really difficult to get underneath a Saab 9000 unless you have a 4-post lift, of course. I'm going to mark it up and then put it in the same position, and I think it will be all right. But the best thing would be to tighten that up when the car is resting on the ground. Well, this is not the first bushing that I change, and it's exactly the same position. So I'm just going to mark up the line like this, and then I can set it the same position. I'm going to do the same on this one. On this side though, you can't tighten it up on the car because it's pushed in. But now I got the line to align it with. The next bit, I need some special tools that I made. I actually already changed the bushings on the other side, therefore I have invented the tools needed. But I haven't invented it, because the fact is I found it on this page, which is a brilliant page, saab9000.com. There's a lot of good stuff about Saabs on this page. Go check it out if you need anything Saab related, Saab 9000 related that is. There's a lot of good stuff in there. To get it off, I need this piece of pipe, 10 centimeters long. I'll fit that right here. It fits on the outside of the bushing, but still rests on this one. And then I'm gonna feed it through some thick washers into this and all the way through. Which is going to be difficult because it's squashed completely. It's not supposed to be that squashed. Someone has overdone the have tightened it up too much, I think. I need to do something about that. You know what? I'm just going to cut it on each side. This really shouldn't be necessary though, because it's supposed to fit through, but it's too squashed. But I'm just going to cut it on each side so it's no longer squashed. I can go ahead and fit this assembly through. Just about. Still a bit flat. But it works. Tighten this up a bit, put a washer on the other side, put some nuts around that. When I tighten this one, it will be forcing the entire bushing that way. See? It's moving in. And of course the washer is a bit big because it needs to fit inside of there, but I think it will manage. There we go. It's out. And then I need to install the new bushing, make sure that it's clean in here. It looks fine. I'm looping up the new bushing a bit with some silicone grease. The important thing is it needs to be something that doesn't deteriorate the rubber. Like this. And then I need a slightly different setup, but the same principle. Using this one, it needs to be around 45 millimeters. Not too small, because then it will hit before you push it all the way in. Not too big either, otherwise it won't fit in here. So what I want to do is to feed this through this and all the way through. Put these on. Make sure that it rests right. I'm just going to tighten up a bit and then align the holes with the line I made, like that. And then I can just drive it in. And it's going in. There we go. then undo it. There we go. Unfortunately, it's not aligned anymore. Hope I can twist it. Yeah, I can. It's not very difficult. I don't even think it's necessary to mark it up, to be honest, because it's movable in there. Anyway, that's in. Then I need to undo this to remove this. There we go. There we go. And I can then remove the bushing. Notice that it's different. So put it on in the correct orientation. Like this. And now I'm not going to tighten this up before it's on the car. It will make it easier to fit the part because you won't be fighting the bushing when you need to align the other bolt holes. And also it's best to do when it's on the car. So I'm going to do that later on. That's the bushings done, and I can go ahead and refit it to the car. And the reason why it's nice to not tighten up this at this stage is that now that it turns, I can actually put this on and flex it in the position. Then I don't have to fight it over here while fitting these points, while fitting these nuts into there. But before doing that, I need to remember those brackets that has wasted away on the old one, the aluminum brackets. On the other side, I actually forgot to put these on the first time around, and that was quite annoying because it was a bit of a struggle to get it on there. And that was where I learned that it was a good idea not to tighten this one up because it makes it a lot easier. So with this one, now fit it like this, I can go ahead and set this bolt into there, and I can put some assembly grease on that. I'm talking these up to 50, and we'll recheck later. So I will not guarantee that it's correct. You have to do your own research on that part. Honestly, it just needs to be tight. There we go. What I want to do next is to just tighten this up in the correct position. So firstly, I will align it with the mark I made. And I strongly suggest to loosen up this and retighten it once the car is on the ground to make sure it's not flexing when it doesn't have to. But I do not like to not tighten up stuff just in case I forget it. I'm going to tighten it up to spec now just to be safe, because sometimes you just, I will do that later, and then you forget it, and it can lead to, you will probably notice before it becomes serious. But anyway, I like to tighten it up even though it doesn't have to. Before putting the rear bracket in, I'm just going to pop this into the stabilizer arm so I don't have to fight with that later on, like this, and then I can refit the bracket down here. I honestly like the design of this on the Saab 9000. It's quite easy to work on, quite easy to service. Nothing was too serious about this task. I like the way it comes off the car quite easily. Even though this is a car with almost 500,000 kilometers on the clock in Danish climate, it's not too rusty and crabby down here. And that is impressive. Just gonna zip them up. That's the other way, my friend. And this bushing goes in. There we go. And yeah, there's an issue down there. I had the exhaust off because I had to do some rust repairs. And now the bracket cracked. I will just put in a clamping section for that because I don't really know how to fix that any other way. Easily at least. And that's the new arm in. And just to show you the difference. There's not a lot of movement comparing it to before, and absolutely no way of hitting the chassis leg like I could just before, so it's a lot more firm now. So this is all for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget you can support me there. There's a Patreon link down below. That way there is a chance that I can buy my own Saab 9000 Aero at one point, because I really love these cars. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.